After a couple long flights from the Maldives, we landed in Istanbul. Jack was thrilled about this because everywhere you go in Istanbul you can find cats. On the first day, we took a basic tour of all the sites around Istanbul so we could get a grasp of the city layout. Since we didn't go inside the Hagia Sophia on our tour, we came back the next day to check it out. After that, we walked through the central fountain area to the Blue Mosque. The inside is under renovation, so we didn't even really get to see the walls, but Jack found another cat. We found a sweet shop afterwards, and the guy working there gave us lots of samples of Turkish delights to try, and we bought some for later. After filling up on Turkish candy, we visited the Theodosius Cistern. Usually tourists in Istanbul visit the Basilica Cistern, but it was closed for renovation for another couple years. To wrap up our time in Istanbul, we hung out on the balcony of our hotel and watched the sunset over the Hagia Sophia. The next morning, we took a short flight to Cappadocia. Whenever anyone asked me what I was most looking forward to doing on this trip, I would say it was to visit Cappadocia and ride in a hot air balloon. We woke up at 5 a.m. the next day to do so, and a van took us away from the city and into the fields where the balloons take off. We jumped into the balloon and away we went over the valley. Pilots wake up every morning at around 3 a.m. to check the wind, because if it's too windy or cloudy, no balloons will fly that day. They can only fly very early in the morning, so it's not always a given that they can go up. Our pilot told us that it had been very windy and cloudy lately, and that they'd only been going up about a third of the days, so lucky us that we got to go. In Cappadocia, they have these long, pointy rock formations that they call fairy chimneys, pretty accurately named, if I have to say. Our balloon pilot took us in and out of the valleys and all around these cute little fairy chimneys. After about an hour of flight, our pilot landed the balloon on the back of a truck, which we found very impressive. They let us help push the air out of the balloon once we were on the ground, and we celebrated with some champagne afterwards. Most people only come to Cappadocia for the balloons, but we decided to take a tour the next day. We started with a couple nice viewpoints that overlooked the fairy chimneys. After that, we visited an underground city, which was interesting, but not the best if you have claustrophobia. From there, we took a little walk through a place called Ilara Valley. For lunch in Ilara Valley, we stopped at this cafe that was set up in the middle of a creek. Our favorite thing to order while we were in Turkey was pomegranate juice, and luckily for us, there was a guy there making it fresh. The last stop of the day was to this monastery that was carved into the side of the rock. On our way back from the tour, we stopped by a roadside stall where they were growing strawberries, so we bought a giant bag of them for only a few dollars. The next morning, we woke up early to see the balloons flying all around our hotel. That same night, we went to see a traditional Turkish dancing show with whirling dervishes. Alright, we just saw the whirling dervish show. Family, hot takes? Anyone?
I know you were probably bored, but I found it mesmerizing.
I almost fell asleep.
On the last full day in Cappadocia, we woke up again early to go on a hike through Love Valley. So we woke up at about 5:30 this morning, but it was worth it because look at that view. Dang! We've woken up pretty early, like every morning here, because the balloons only come out from like 6 to 7, but it's pretty worth it. Before heading to the airport the next morning, we enjoyed one last view of the balloons over breakfast and said goodbye to Turkey. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.